I have no love for He-Man. Sometimes
I know, but I have no love for He-Man either, but he's got a place in the world in a comic book story.
When I was a kid, I'd watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe when I got home from school. From 1981 to 82, it was a rich...
I'm kind of retarded.
As a stoner at almost age 51, names and dates. Like some cat on the internet was like, you said that you watched this in 1981 and it didn't come out TV until 1983. You're a liar, a liar. And I was like, well, I smoke a lot of weed, kids. Don't crush my nuts if I say 1981 versus 1983, Columbo.
But when you have people like Kevin Smith, who in 2010 tweeted out, I was never a He-Man fan.
Yeah.
And then in 2020 is saying, I'm a massive He-Man fan. I love Masters of the Universe.
You asshole.
Guy's a f***ing asshole.
Head. Come back.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and we basically now have confirmation, although it's been sort of pseudo-confirmed multiple times, that Kevin Smith is no fan of He-Man. In fact, he has admitted on audio tape and video caught in 4K that he's no fan of He-Man. He's also then gone on to lie and say that he was a big fan of He-Man and always was. This is very typical from the geek interloper personality. Look, I had a He-Man birthday cake. I think when I was like maybe 10, 8. I don't know. I had a twin sister, so it was half Barbie, half He-Man. I know it because I still have a picture of it from my parents. I didn't really care so much about like the reboot of it, but I'm also not making a He-Man television show, and I'm not trying to appeal to the old fandom while disparaging the legacy of He-Man. You know, I think that, you know, for months now, Kevin Smith has gone out of his way to, in particular with Clownfish TV, to talk about how, you know, oh, he's crazy, that he totally respects the original He-Man lore, and that he's just a huge He-Man fan like all the rest of us. And then earlier this week, we had, again, another caught in 4K moment where Kevin Smith literally says that they meant to end a character that everyone loved to sit back and essentially laugh at people. Actually, I'm going to play the audio because it is so frustrating.
Watching the show last night, I turned...
Because in Orko, you know, how do you make Orko the most beloved character? And so we introduced this kind of broken, sadder, wiser version of Orko who still has this youthful voice and childlike enthusiasm for adventure. And like he's got this moment where like even if you hated Orko your whole life, when he has that moment where he's talking about like, please let me come along with you, I won't mess up this time, like he sounds like a 5-year-old who just wants to be involved and stuff. So
right there, that's great stuff. I always love redemption arcs for characters in real life or in comics or cartoons, so that's cool. But then you'll see the real reason Kevin Smith did it.
We wanted to make the audience fall in love with Orko because we knew what we wanted to do with Orko at the end of episode 4. Have him be the hero, have him make a very heroic sacrifice. Yeah. So it was kind of insidious where we were like, here's this character nobody likes. Let's make everybody love him and then watch them get angry when the character they've always hated is taken from them. They're like, but I like that guy now. Like, so that meant the world to me to hear you say that.
What a sicko. Like, think what a sick prick. I mean, what? We wanted to bring up a character. We wanted to make you love this character just to take him away from you and watch you cry about it. That's Kevin Smith. And, you know, endlessly, places like Bleeding Cool are shilling for Kevin Smith and saying, here's like, you know, Masters of the Universe Revelation, Kevin Smith's new troll smackdown. With less than 3 weeks to go until Mattel Television and Netflix unleashes Masters of the Universe Revelation, you might be not nor surprised to hear showrunner, executive producer, all around Masters of the Universe fan. Really? I thought he said he's got no love for He-Man. All around MOTU fan is still dealing with backlash from butthurt MOTU gatekeepers. This is a dude. I don't agree with people that it is a requirement for you to be a lifelong fan of a certain property to do a good job representing that property. I don't think it hurts. You know, watching Henry Cavill play Witcher, it kind of helps that he's read the books and that he's played the video game. But I don't think it's a requirement. Where I get frustrated is when you lie about it. When you say, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I've always been a long time Masters of the Universe fan, even though there's a half a dozen clips of me on the internet saying that I've never even heard of it or that I don't know. I've got no love for He-Man. I never watched He-Man, but now you're all of a sudden a great fan of him. Why? Because Netflix gave you a big check, and because you, Kevin Smith, who hasn't made a relevant movie in 15 years, saw a paycheck there? Where were you when Stan Lee needed help, by the way? Not to pick at that one, but I remember begging you, dude. Now, maybe you did stuff behind the scenes. I don't know. That's probably a low blow by me. But, you know, he was so close to Stan Lee, and he let, you know, all those people taking advantage of him. It was well documented. Kevin had to know what was going on. I know he reads tweets from people all the time. Maybe he did do something, though. You know, maybe that's just too low of a blow. Attacking the series. So they're attacking the series based on nothing more than rumors, innuendo, and some really bad reads on some interviews Smith did that they're claiming were lies. First, we've seen the first batch of episodes, so we can easily side with Smith in saying that he's been telling the truth in his interviews. But he hasn't been, because they were talking about, you know, emasculating He-Man and making Teela the hero. And in many of the reviews, where is this? In Grace Randolph's Masters of the Universe review, she said that it was lacking a strong male character. If I remember correctly. Where was this? Maybe it was in her YouTube video. I can't remember if it was her tweet in her YouTube. Yeah, it was in her YouTube video. You know, a spoiler-free YouTube video. Now, you can have your problems with Grace. I definitely have in the past. But you see here, Worth the Drama time jump, adult version of a kid's show, major queer baiting, no strong male characters. I mean, this is like, I mean, seriously? Sarah Michelle Gellar's remarks were also disappointing. She claimed that the original cartoon did not have strong female characters, which is a lie, and were not important to the story, which is proof she never watched it. Teela Ann was a captain of the Palace Guard, which meant that she outranked almost everybody, and answered to the king and queen. Sorceress was one of the most powerful magical users in the universe, and guardian of Castle Grayskull, which is central to the story and the mythology of MOTU. Evelyn is easily one of the most dangerous villains and gets much more character development than any of Skeletor's other warriors. I hate it when actors feel they need to disparage the original show in order to promote how amazing and revolutionary their reboot is. I mean, this is the thing. You know, anytime Hollywood has ever said that they've reimagined something or that they've taken a different look, a different take on something, you can safely assume that they've took a steaming dump on the entire thing. And Kevin Smith knew. I think he knew the whole time, which is why he was so prone to respond to criticism on Twitter, is because he knew they were right about him. You actually see here, wrong. Smith is, you can see as showrunner, I could have used these story suggestions before we locked in scripts. However, no. He-Man does no stepping aside for Teela, has no girlfriend in the show. The storyline is pretty dark, way metal. Before Revelation, we were calling it End of the Universe. Okay. Well, the reviewers are saying that there's no strong male characters in the show. I mean, I don't know. Like, the art style I really like. I mean, I think everything looks pretty cool. The writing, though, I mean, look at Netflix Masters of the Universe Revelation radically reimagines He-Man's 1980s world. I mean, the story is much aligned with the streaming era. The first 5 episodes of Revelation's first season tell a continuous story, fit for watching over a single afternoon. The show is surprising as decades later IP revival, leaning on a childhood nostalgia to far less degree than the concept and visuals suggest. It's also pretty darn good. For those unfamiliar, Mattel's original 80s He-Man show follows... By the way, back then, shows were made just to sell toys, of course. I had all of them. Practically every character in He-Man is a broad cutout with a toy-friendly name and colorful design. Every episode ends with a morality PSA, which should be in more often nowadays, to make it slightly more palatable to parents that the show was mostly designed to sell action figures. Revelation has a toy line too, but the major difference is that even though the new show is aimed at kids, Kevin Smith's sequel cares deeply about characters and puts them through the ringer. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts that adds a significant amount of retroactive meaning to the show's original show's flimsy dynamics. You can see, once a nostalgia is dispensed with, the show takes an unexpected turn and sidelines He-Man and Skeletor for most of part 1. Yeah, who wants to watch who wants to see He-Man and He-Man show? In fact, Revelation does the original series could not. Since the episodes often aired out of order, it significantly upends Eternia's status quo and places it in lasting danger. It also allows for a story focused not on He-Man and Skeletor, but the supporting characters like He-Man's love interest, Teela, the interdimensional mage, Orko, and Skeletor's second-in-command, Evil Lyn. Teela, the captain of the Royal Guard, is ostensibly the show's protagonist. I mean, that's exactly what people were saying, and now we know for sure. Kevin Smith is a liar. I will not be watching the show. I hope if you do, you enjoy it, because that's what life's about. But Kevin Smith should have at least been honest about this. It's really, really sad. I hope you enjoyed this video, though, and if you did, please remember to leave a like on it. We'll talk to you again real soon.